Kenan Evren was chief of the Turkish army at the time of the coup. He later became president. And he's been quoted as saying he has, quote, no regrets about the coup. He says it restored order after thousands died in violence between the far left and far right. But some expect that if he's convicted, he won't serve a life sentence. He's 94 years old and in poor health. Let's bring in our reporter, Gonca Şenay. She's joining us now live from Ankara. Gonca, just tell us exactly what's going on right now outside of the courtroom, where you are and whether the trial has started.
The first hearing of the historic case has just started in the Ankara courthouse right behind me. As expected, former generals Kenan Evren and Tahsin Şahinkaya aren't here to testify due to their health problems. They are both under medical treatment in a military hospital in Ankara. And I must say that one of them is 94, Kenan Evren, and Tahsin Şahinkaya is 86 years old. So they will not testify today, even through video link, as the hospital says them, as the hospital gave them reports that way. So they will not testify today. So what will the court do? The court will today decide about the appeals of intervention, which the number rises up to hundreds of individuals and lots of institutions.
Right, and this coup, Gonca, was in the 1980s, as we're saying. But how significant is this trial for Turkey right now?
In Turkey's history of 89 years, 3 coups have been staged, but none of the coup leaders have been tried before. So this is the first time in Turkey, and it has become possible with the new amendments in the constitution. This has become possible. Turkey is first time facing off a coup leader, facing off 2 surviving coup leaders. This is very important for Turkey. It is considered as the end of the military presence in Turkish policy. It's important for individuals who have been tortured during that time. You can see maybe there's a big crowd gathered in front of this Ankara courthouse. They are protesting Kenan Evren and Tahsin Şahinkaya, calling them murderers. But it's not only a protest, it's a celebration for them that the leaders are being tried. It's not only important for individuals, it's important for lots of institutions and lots of non-governmental organizations. Even the Turkish parliament and the cabinet have appealed for intervention, saying that they are the prime victims of this coup.
All right, Gonca Şenay, just outside that courtroom in Ankara. Thank you very much, Gonca, for the time being. Al Jazeera has learned that a deal is about to be signed between the U.S. and Afghanistan on controversial night raids by NATO. They've been one of the main sticking points in discussions over future relations between the two countries. Afghanistan has long objected to the raids, but NATO says they're the most effective way to flush out Taliban leaders. James Bays has this report from Kabul.
There is no warning. A joint Afghan-NATO raid carried out in the dead of night. The family living here in Sarobi district, east of Kabul, look shocked and frightened as the soldiers storm their home. Night raids like this one, the footage filmed by a cameraman from NATO's own TV division, have become deeply controversial. President Karzai has repeatedly called for them to be stopped. It's one of the main sticking points in negotiations with the US over the future presence of American troops in the country after 2014. But one senior parliamentarian says although mistakes have been made in the past, stopping all such operations would surrender the night to the Taliban.
We don't want to give them night or day. We don't want to give them space as long as they are not accepting the rules, as long as they are a threat for the community. We are responsible to save our own people. We have to bring security by any price.
Increasingly, night operations like this one are Afghan-led, although on this raid, overall direction was given by special forces from New Zealand. An Afghan prosecutor was also present. They say they found explosive materials while searching in a neighbouring compound, but in the end no charges were brought against the man being questioned here, despite being